Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercise my First Amendment rights vlog style, and today we're going to take the ultimate test. The ultimate test to see just how much of a poser I really am. Because there's a bunch of videos on YouTube that give all of these symptoms of poserdom, and we're just going to see how many of them apply to me. Alright, well we're just gonna, logically respond to one of these "you may be a metal poser if" videos. It doesn't really matter which one I respond to because they're pretty much all alike. They really don't take a lot of effort to make. All you really need is Windows Movie Maker and a generic death metal song to play in the background, and that's all there really is to it. A lot of these videos are pretty much exactly the same, and they give a lot of the same points. So, the one that we're going to respond to today is called 30 Ways to Tell If You Are a Metal Poser by Demon NS8. I guess that's what it is. Demonus8. Who knows? The video is from 2010, and he says in the description that he doesn't take it seriously anymore, but whatever. We're going to take it seriously just to make some points here. So, let's begin. And by the way, I'm gonna have the music off just to make it easier on you, and because whenever I watch a Windows Movie Maker text-to-video video, I usually like to have the background noise turned off so I can read easier. So I'm gonna have that for you too. So let's begin now. 30 ways to tell if you're a metal poser. You think Joey Jordison is the best drummer in the world. I think he's a good drummer. I do think he's got some skill, but I don't necessarily think he's the best. I mean, if you wanted my opinion on who I think is the best, that would be Mike Portnoy, but that is me. But Joey Jordison, he's good. You listen to rap, rapcore, hip-hop, or pop. Yeah, because it's totally a bad thing to have a varied musical taste. I do like a lot of rap, mainly from the 90s, but, I guess you're probably one of these people who is only just going by what's on the surface, only by, the young money people that are really popular today. But it's not a bad thing to have some rap in your collection, or even some pop. I like a good bit of pop, maybe not a lot of today's pop, but a lot of, older pop that I personally think is a lot better. Nothing wrong at all with having a little bit of that in your collection. It's never a bad thing to have a varied musical taste. You shop at American Eagle, Hollister, Abercrombie, etc. No, no, and no. You are a guy and you dress emo/scene or prep. Does this look emo, scene, or prep to you? You are a guy and you post pictures of yourself on Facebook, MySpace, etc. Because it's a bad thing to want people to be able to find you easier if you have a common name like mine. I mean, that's basically the reason why I have a picture of myself, so people can find me easier if they want to look me up. I mean, I don't understand what your problem here is with people having pictures of themselves. I'd rather the picture be of me than of some random design or cartoon character. But that's just me, and who even uses MySpace anymore? Seriously. You use gay, queer, and faggot in every one of your insults. Like I said in the word analysis I made about the word gay a few months back, I do think that, you can come up with a lot more original and mature of insults, and I personally think I'm a lot better than someone who uses, any of those words in their insults. Because, like I said, you can be a lot more original and a lot more mature than that. Okay? When someone bashes your favorite band, your only comeback is, go listen to the Jonas Brothers. Because the Jonas Brothers are totally relevant, right? But no. If someone does, want to bash a band I like, it doesn't even need to be my favorite band, but if they want to talk shit about a band I like, I usually would like them to, defend their point logically and objectively and rationally. And that's basically the point I want to drive by in the What's Wrong With videos, is just rational and logical discussion about bands. But no, I don't even bother with comebacks. I just want to have a, civil discussion. You think putting 666 on your username/channel is cool, or you don't know what it means. You pretty much just said two things in the same point. But anyway, do you see 666 in my username? No, I don't think I need 666 or even a number for that matter in my username. The username I have now, it's just all I really need. Do I know what it means? It's the fucking number of the beast, come on. You think ripping holes in your clothes on purpose is cool. No, as a matter of fact, I don't, and I don't understand why people still do wear their jeans with holes in them rather than just throw them away and buy a new pair of jeans. That's usually what I do if there's, a hole big enough in my jeans. I mean, in the jeans I have right now, there's kind of a small little tear around the pocket, but nothing really too extreme. But it wasn't done on purpose. You don't know what a mosh pit is. I don't even have anything witty to say there. You don't know what drop D tuning is. If you don't play guitar or bass, I don't really expect you to know what drop D tuning is, but if you do play guitar or bass, I would expect that of you. I mean, it's not something I really expect people who don't play guitar to really know, so I'll give you a pass there. You lie about playing an instrument just so you can look cool. Because I totally spent $200 to $300 on this instrument just so I can lie about being able to play it to look cool, and all I can really do is... You only listen to modern day metal. I do listen to a fair amount of modern day metal, but what's wrong with that? Just because it's modern doesn't mean that it's shit. I mean, when it comes to me, I'm mainly more of a classic guy. As you can see, I got a Joe Satriani shirt on. He's a total classic as far as metal and guitarists go, but there's nothing at all wrong with having some modern bands in your collection. Gives a shit what decade they're from as long as the music's good. You think old metal like Sabbath or Maiden sucks. Because if you like modern metal at all, obviously that means you hate older metal. Ugh. Nah, in all seriousness, no, I don't think Sabbath or Maiden sucks. And even if, they weren't really your style if you listen to metal, I'd still expect you to have some kind of respect for them. Some respect for the foundation that they established. That's really all there really needs to be to it. You don't need to be a huge fan to respect them. You think all metal is screamo. Because with all the points that I've made in this video and videos in the past, I clearly think it's all screamo. You don't know the difference between death metal and deathcore. I know the basic difference is, that, death metal has more thrash influence and extreme elements. Deathcore is like a fusion of metalcore and deathcore. That's basically the basic understanding you really need. Either way, I really don't care that much about either of them. When you think of thrash metal, the only band you can think of is Metallica. Challenge accepted. All the bands that come to mind when I think of thrash metal. The rest of the big four definitely come to mind first. Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. Then you got Exodus, Creator, Sodom, Annihilator, Nuclear Assault, Destruction, Dark Angel, Death Angel. Venom I consider to be more thrash. Who else? Sepultura. You got your modern thrash bands like Havoc and Lich King, Evil, Warbringer, Municipal Waste. A lot of bands come to mind when I think of thrash, not just Metallica. When you think of death metal, the only band you can think of is Cannibal Corpse. That's actually not true, mainly because I really don't care for Cannibal Corpse. What comes to mind when I think of death metal, off the top of my head, would be Death, of course, Possessed, Children of Bodom, Arch Enemy, Soilwork, and I guess that's about it. When you think of deathcore, the only band you can think of is Suicide Silence. Alright, Bring Me the Horizon, I Wrestled a Bear Once, Whitechapel, Winds of Plague, Born of Osiris, August Burns Red, and that's really about it. That's really the only deathcore that I even really listen to, so there you go. You don't know what metal horns are. Aren't those horns that you hear in metal songs that are made of metal? Nah. You mostly listen to emo/scene, metalcore, and nu metal and claim to be a true metalhead. I listen to a good deal of nu metal because, I like the way it sounds, I like the style. I have no real problems with it. Metalcore, don't listen to as much of it, but overall, don't really have that much of a problem. I don't really have a problem with any of those styles. I do listen to, like, a few from each of those, but I have really no problem with either of them. But it's not mostly what I listen to. My music library is very varied, like I said earlier. There's so much music. I'm just a dumping pile. That's what my iTunes is. A big heaping pile of all kinds of music. And that's the way I think it should be. You think Slipknot is the heaviest band in existence. I don't even really care who the heaviest band in existence is. It's all subjective anyway. Everybody's going to have a different opinion on who they think is the heaviest band in existence. And in the end, I don't even think it really matters. Do I think it's Slipknot? I don't really think so. I do like Slipknot, but, I don't care if they're the heaviest or the least heavy. Still like them. You only like a band because you heard one of their songs from Guitar Hero. Like I said in the Guitar Hero video, I did learn about a lot of bands from those games, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And as far as, only liking a band because of that, there are some bands where the only song I like of theirs was in Guitar Hero. But then again, I don't claim to be a big diehard fan of that band if I only really like one song of theirs. Like, for example, I don't claim to be a huge fan of Reverend Horton Heat when the only song I really know of theirs is Psychobilly Freakout. You don't like death metal because of the vocals, or you take the lyrics seriously. I really don't take lyrics seriously in general because, they can be interpreted in so many different ways. Most of the time, it doesn't even really matter, but that's not the reason I really don't like a lot of death metal. I plan on making a video at some point in the future, really going into depth about it. It doesn't really have much to do with the vocals, but I'll explain that when the time comes. You type like this cause you think it cool! No, because I want to set an example for my audience by, typing with correct capitalization, punctuation, grammar. I want to set a good example out there, I've attracted a lot of people on my channel, and I want to set a good example by, typing with, good spelling and grammar. You use brutal in you comments to describe heavy bands. I really don't even use the term that much at all. It's kind of a stupid word, to be honest. There's a lot more creative and original of adjectives, like I said earlier in this video about the word gay. A lot more original and mature of words you could use than brutal. God. You spend more time playing video games than listening to metal. Let's just say hypothetically that video games were a bigger hobby of mine and I was more of a gamer. What would be the problem there? At least I have, a hobby outside of listening to music. What's wrong with, having hobbies outside of music? I have lots of hobbies. Making these videos, playing my instruments, hanging out with my friends here, I have lots of hobbies outside of listening to music, and what exactly is the problem with that? You think the best bands are advertised by MTV. To me, it doesn't even matter if they were on MTV or if they were never on MTV, what record label they were signed to, if they're even signed to a record label at all. If I like the music, then I like the music. You cannot classify subgenres and tell which bands fit into those genres. I'm not as OCD about genres as a lot of people are. Like, I don't go into just total microscopic depth that some people do when classifying into subgenres. I can give you your basic information, but I'm not going to go into total depth or anything like progressive extreme post-hardcore or something like that. I don't go into that much of depth. And finally, you think any of the following bands are metal. This is just a pathetic attempt at metal. Bullet for My Valentine. Okay, they play a subgenre of metal known as metalcore. The tone quality and production, it sounds metal to me. So, there you go. Bullet for My Valentine. This is just flat out gay. First of all, before I show the band here, you just said in your video that you don't like when people use the word gay in their insult, and here you are using it. Wow. So who is just flat out gay? Fall Out Boy. Yeah, because people totally label Fall Out Boy as a metal band. I don't think I've ever seen a fan of Fall Out Boys ever label them as a metal band. And how would I know this? Because there are a lot of people I know that go here that are fans of Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy has a pretty large following here, and I don't think even they label Fall Out Boy as a metal band. As a punk band, yeah, but not a metal band. They're smarter than that. This is not chemically romantic at all. And My Chemical Romance. Same deal applies. I don't think I've ever seen anybody label My Chemical Romance as a metal band. Really at all. So I think you're kind of overreacting here, don't you think? This is nowhere even close to metal. Thank Jesus. Linkin Park. Linkin Park, the thing about them, they just have such a varied amount of influences. They have so much contributing. They can't exactly be classified as one thing, and maybe that's the reason people bash on them so much, but as far as what I think of them, I think that's what makes Linkin Park more of a unique group, is that they play in so many styles. They have their hard rock songs, they have their hip-hop songs, they have their poppier songs, they have their more synth-driven songs. They do so many different kinds of songs, and I think that's awesome to be able to experiment with different kinds of sounds. And something I will talk about in a future video is that there is a difference between experimenting with different sounds and selling out. This is just a steaming pile of horse shit. Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit, they're kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, but, This is just teeny weeny. Tokyo Hotel, again with the fucking emo pop punk shit. Who labels these bands as metal? I'll tell you who. You. Yet another pile of horse shit. And of course the obligatory Avenged Sevenfold diss that every elitist YouTuber out there just feels the need to use. This is not hardcore whatsoever, and I am sick to death of that piece of shit body song on every fucking video. Well, I don't really know which videos you'd be watching. Drowning Pool. Little alternative metal band, a little new metal for you. As far as bodies, yeah, it's a good song. I like the guitar voices and effects. I do like those. And Drowning Pool, they're an alright band. Nothing I have against them. This is an example of gangsta rap wannabe new metal. Hollywood Undead. I guess that's basically how I first heard of Hollywood Undead, because I thought they were a new metal band or whatever, but no, I don't think anybody labels Hollywood Undead as a metal band. I mean, if you listen to the songs, nah, not even close. That's all. Enjoy the rest of Murder Worship by Cannibal Corpse, which you won't be able to do since I have the music turned off. So, yep, tally up the strikes, and take care and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I will see you next time.